So I watched the last episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. This was really, uh, this is the interview with Karen. um, they, I guess, considered it the season finale, but last week was actually the season finale. This was just an interview that they attached to the season. The interview was longer than what it needed to be. Um, a lot of times on Bravo, they make things longer than what they need to be. Because sometimes we can get away with a one-part reunion, 90 minutes tops sometimes. Sometimes we can get away with a two-part reunion. This really could have been something that was thrown in just last week. It really didn't need to be. I think that was an hour and what 30-minute interview. Was it an hour and 30 minutes or an hour and 15? Anyways, Karen. uh, let's just get into it. Um, I felt like Karen was on a mission to take control of the interview. For those who watched it, I don't know if y'all realized, like she was the one who actually went straight into let's talk about the film that broke the internet. Right? It was always let's talk about it. Let's talk about. It was I want to control, and I get it. If you can, then go for it. Right? I'm in control of this interview. Um, let's go ahead and talk about it before I forget what I was told to say. There were a couple of times I thought that Andy did a good job at clocking Karen. So basically, the episode starts out with Karen getting out of jail. She has her prison braids in. She said that some of the girls in jail they took the hair out of their head and gave it to her so she could have braids. Now I saw some people saying they thought Karen was lying, but I saw some girls online saying that they had to do a bid or two, and they said that Karen they said that that does happen in jail where women will give you hair out of their head so that you can have braids. So I don't know. That's not my ministry. Um, girl, thank God. But some of the girls did say that Karen was telling the truth, that that does actually happen in jail. Again, I don't know. But nonetheless, she has braids. She makes it home. Um, you could tell she's very happy, like most people probably would be, to be at home and a nice, sized home instead of a jail cell down to Montgomery Detention Center. Uh, let me just go ahead and say it. I think Karen full of shit. I do. Um, I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. I think Karen uh, did exactly what she was told to do as far as answering the questions. I think that Karen does not want to label herself as an alcoholic because she does not believe that she's an alcoholic. There were, I think, a time or two in the interview where she referred to it as alcoholism, but she never actually referred to herself as an alcoholic. Um, I don't remember her saying, like, I'm an alcoholic. I remember her putting more emphasis on the pills that she was taking. The way that I took it is though Karen was trying to change the course of the conversation about it being about the alcohol and more so about the pills that she was taking that were prescribed to her. As far as I'm concerned, Karen gonna be drinking if she's not already drinking. I think Karen will go as far as she can at least until she has to stop reporting to court. Because I think like for the first year or something like that, where like if she gets behind the wheel of a car, she has to like blow into a breathalyzer. You know those things that are attached to your car. I know someone who had to do that. So I think it's like for a year or so, maybe she has to like continue to go like do certain things. You know, I don't know about probation. I don't know. But I think once everything is settled, if it ever goes away, that I think that if she isn't drinking then, she'll definitely start to drink after that. I just think now Karen, like I said the other night, somebody asked me in my live, do you think Karen will drink? And I said, well, girl, she got to the point where she was smart about it, right? She stopped drinking on camera when she was down in the basement, girl, with Monique and Candace, um, drinking at Fireball, telling all her goddamn business. She stopped drinking on camera. But I think she would just drink, you know, when she went out, when basically when the cameras were down. But now I think Karen is going to get to the point where she doesn't drink out in public at all. She doesn't drink at restaurants. She definitely won't drink on camera. It'll just be when they're done filming, period. You know, I could see Karen getting to a point where even if they're filming and they're done filming for the day, she still won't drink at home. Like I think she'll not drink for 2 or 3 months, period. And then when filming stops, she'll go back to drinking. And then when filming starts, she'll stop. Then when like I think it'll be like a routine for Karen eventually. So, anyways, I had to get that out because I felt like I was beating around the bush and playing in y'all face. They talk about the video. Girl, they talk about the video. Karen is full of shit. Karen says that Ray, she wouldn't allow Ray to see the video. Girl, you don't have to see, girl, Karen, baby. Karen, sister. You don't have to, girl, you don't have, Ray don't have to see the video, baby, because he was there. This is the thing. Can we just talk? Girl, I really hate what I'm about to say. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Karen, you've been a drunk since you've been with Ray. Ray don't have to see the video because he's lived this experience with you. You see what I'm saying? He don't have to watch the video. One, girl, because he knows your ways. He knows who you are. That's your husband. Two, girl, he was there digging through your purse. Girl. I'm looking for the license. The license? What is it? Yeah, baby. I don't see the license in here. Girl, Ray was that. He don't he don't have to watch the video. You can't refuse for him to watch the video because again, he was there. He experienced most of that night with you. He was there when you was talking crazy to them cops. He was there when you told them cops they're not gonna do a goddamn thing to you. I'm paraphrasing. He was there, bitch, when your car caught on fire. Girl, he was there. He was there. He was there, sister. Girl, you ain't got you can't stop him from seeing shit because he don't need to see it. Girl, I was there. And then on top of that, again, Ray has been dealing with Karen for how long? At some point, like if I was Ray, I would be like, I don't need to watch the video, girl. I saw enough. And I've been dealing with this woman for how many decades? Andy, arrives at the home. Her son is there. Her son never films. Which I don't blame him. That's not his thing. But he probably did it that night just to show some support for his mother. He let it be known that he was taking care of Karen's business when she was away. But yeah, he was there, and then cousin David was there. He loves Karen. So shout out to, I think his name is David, right? And then that's when they interview her and Andy excuse themselves, and they go into a room that's been set up for the interview. And she says, I've been through hell, Andy. Let's talk about the film that broke the internet. She's in charge. She wants to be in charge of the interview. She says her lawyers told her, let's try to take a plea deal. Let's get you a plea deal. But she said she hadn't seen the video. They told her the video would nail her, but she was still under the influence of prescriptive drugs and alcohol. I feel like Karen was talking in a whole bunch of circles. At one point, girl, I said, girl, I'm not going to let Karen play in my motherfucking face. Girl. Karen, okay. Let's try to, and see, this is the thing. Karen is the type that'll trip you up. Girl. Okay, so Karen got into a wreck. Karen is saying that because she was still under the influence, I guess she was still drinking and, taking pills even up until they received the body cam footage. I don't know if it was days later, weeks later, or months later. I'm not sure. She just said that she was still under the influence and that basically she wasn't making the right decisions due to her being under the influence of pills and alcohol. But this is my thing. You shouldn't even have to watch the video. Girl, your car caught on fire. Girl, like, bitch, what are we talking about? Like, it's some stuff in life that I just feel like at some point it should be a wake up call. Like the next day, when they told Karen you got into a wreck and ran your car off the road into a tree, you knocked over signs and your car caught on fire, and you went to jail. But she's saying because she hadn't seen the video and because she was still under the influence that she couldn't make, I guess, a sound decision. And even though her lawyers were telling her, girl, you need to go ahead and take this because this shit gonna nail you to the cross if you get out, she still felt like, girl, I'm gonna be all right. Girl. She said the first time that she saw the video was when she was in therapy. So that means that, remember when she missed the reunion, she was going to therapy at that time. So that means from the time that she got into the wreck all the way up until the reunion, she hadn't seen the video. So I'm trying to figure, but Karen also said she knew that this was a nail in the coffin, and that she said she knew she was going to jail. So she had that much understanding that I'm going to jail. I don't know when she realized that. I don't know if she realized that after she saw the video, or I don't know. Um, she says that she's completely sober and she doesn't drink. I do believe that Karen has not had a drink up until this point. I do. And for the girls who, let me just, I don't know about alcohol, but you can still, I don't know about, I know it's a difference between prison and jail. To me, girl, it's the same thing, but it's not. I know it's not, but girl, I don't want to go to either. Okay. But you could still get stuff in prison. I had an uncle who was still on drugs in prison. Best believe it. Hello. But I do believe up until this point, Karen is sober. I do. She says that 20 years ago, Ray was telling her that she needed help. She says 20 years ago, her children also felt like it was a problem. I mean, girl, I guess, how old is Raven? Raven ain't that old. I think Raven's still in her 20s. So if you subtract 20 from, girl, I don't know, girl. This is what Karen said, girl. I'm not even going. She said that she was unhappy. And that her doctor gave her pills, and then when her parents died, they upped the dosage. She said she can't say the name of the pills because she'll be sued. I don't know. The lawyers tell me that's true. She said the drink never called me. And then Andy said, well, the drink called you that night. I said, okay, bitch. She says, I was running from home. I wasn't happy here. So what it sounds like to me is Karen is about to pull the I'm not happy. Not pull the, because this is what I do believe about Karen. I do believe Karen does not want to be with Ray anymore. I think that, like in the words of Funky Dineva, shout out to Funky, either you're gonna pay on the front end or you're gonna pay on the back end. I think Karen is going to be another Nene Leakes, where Nene actually wanted to leave Greg, but when Greg got sick, Nene felt like she had to stay. And so she stayed with Greg until he died. I think that Karen will do the same. She'll probably stay with Ray until, well, I felt like she would have stayed with Ray until he died. I mean, girl, Karen could die before Ray, but if they were just to go of age, due to old age, natural causes, Ray would go before Karen. Um, I felt like Nene probably felt like she owed Greg, right? He took me off the stripper pole and took care of me and my son. I feel like Karen, to a certain degree, feels like she owes Ray. He took me and my son off the motherfucking farm, girl, and raised my son like his own. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like Karen is either setting up a storyline, so this is her way out of the marriage, and the focus will be more so on the reason why she started drinking was because due to her unhappiness, and also Karen was SA'd at 19. I definitely do believe that that is a part of the reason. Um, I definitely believe that. I believe Karen when she says that she was unhappy in her marriage because I just believe it. I believe that played a part in her drinking. The only thing that made me roll my eyes was Karen really was trying to make it seem as though the alcohol was not the problem. Karen's goal was to push it's not the alcohol, it's the pills. Anyway, she says I was running from home. I wasn't happy here. I said so basically Karen and Ray are divorcing will be her next storyline. That's exactly what I put. She's setting it up. Ray gonna go to Florida like cause you know Ray don't want to be in no goddamn. Ray want to go to Florida and sit in front of the water and sit on the balcony, the porch, and have a cocktail, smoke a cigar, and just live out the rest of his days. Um, she says that she was released early because she led the AA classes, and I put how the fuck, girl, and then Andy basically asks her, you know, no disrespect, but girl, he basically said, how the fuck you leading the AA, bitch? That's basically what he said. That's what he wanted to say. She says basically due to the treatment that she received before going to jail. Karen, you went to AA for 30 days. You went to a rehab, not AA. You went to a rehab treatment for 30 days, really just to show the judge that you were trying to get ahead of the situation. And let me say this: the best people to tell you don't do don't do drugs is the crackhead. Okay, Felicia would be the best person to tell you say no to drugs. It wouldn't be me. I could tell you say no to drugs, but the best person to tell you to say no to drugs is the local crackhead. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at Karen for being the person to tell the girls in jail, girl, say no to alcohol. I mean, girl, we all here at the same. Girl, I just don't know. I just think it's some bullshit. That's what I'm really trying to say. I think it's some bullshit. Karen is in jail, girl, and now all of a sudden, girl, you teaching a girl. Girl, but I mean, girl, a girl got to do what a girl got to do in order to get out of jail. So Karen basically taught an AA class in jail, so it will work down her hours, you know, time served, whatever, and she could get out. But the reality is, Karen didn't have no business trying to tell nobody at that time. Girl, you just did a 30-day stint. And girl, quiet as it's careful what they said, girl, it wasn't even a rehab center, girl, it was a Four Seasons hotel. That's what the people said. The people said, bitch, you ain't even go to rehab, girl. Girl, you went on a little vacay. The people said you went on a vacay, Karen. Anyways, and then she says she discovered she's emotionally stunted since she was 19 due to the SA. Again, I do believe there were parts of this interview. I do believe Karen. I do believe that Karen is unhappy in her marriage with Ray. I do. Do I think that she was trying to make it seem as though that was the reason why she was drinking? I do. But I believe that plays a part. Do I believe that Karen being SA'd at 19 plays a part? Absolutely. Yes. Yes. She let it be known that she wanted it to be known that it was not 4 DUIs. It was 2 DUIs and basically 2 alcohol related offenses, because 2 of them actually are only labeled as DUIs. So she's telling the truth in that. But girl, you still have 4 alcohol-related offenses. That's why at one point in my videos, I would start saying it was 4 alcohol-related offenses because I did read that 2 of them were only considered DUIs and the other 2 were not. Anyways, Andy says you're really owning the narcotic piece of it, but I guess I still have questions about the alcohol. I said, thank God he clocked that because at that point, Karen was really more focused on trying to paint the picture of it was the pills, it was the pills, it was the pills. Karen wants to drink. I think Karen gonna be drinking. Yes, I think Karen will be drinking. Then she says, let's talk about that. How hard it was for a therapist to convince me I had a drinking problem. There were times where she acknowledged that, like, this was the time she acknowledged she had a drinking problem. She also referred to um, of what she was going through as alcoholism, but she never once referred to herself as an alcoholic. She never once said, I'm an alcoholic. Matter of fact, what she said was, when Andy asked her, do you consider yourself an alcoholic? She said, I consider myself as a person living in lifetime recovery. So clearly Karen is still in denial, right? I think that's one of the steps. They say denial. um, She says she prefers NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous, over AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. Again, because Karen does not consider herself an alcoholic. It's the pills. It's not the alcohol. Girl. They showed the footage from the reunion. And let me just say this. And I'm going to say this and I'm not going to take it back. Karen couldn't say a motherfucking thing to Dr. Wendy Osefo. It was the clip from the reunion came out the other day. The trailer for the reunion came out. And there was a part of the clip where Karen appeared. We don't know because the reunion hasn't shown. And they edit stuff the way they edit stuff. But it appeared as though Karen, I guess, was trying to give some advice to Wendy. And I saw a lot of people online going up for Wendy. I mean, going up for what Karen was doing. And I'll just say this, based off of what I just saw in this interview with Andy, regardless of what Wendy is going through, Karen can't say a motherfucking thing to me. Girl, that girl sit right there in the interview and played in everybody's face. Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. I don't like this narrative that's being pushed that Wendy was out here dogging out Karen. The people who actually made the jokes were Giselle and Ashley, if we're gonna be honest. So they show footage from the reunion. Karen has never watched the reunion. And he shows her clips of the girls talking about her, not talking about her, but discussing her situation and why, she didn't show up to the reunion. And long story short, I thought it was comical how she, Ashley tells a story about how this man approached her and said that Karen used to come to some restaurant and drink. And Karen said that is true. That's true. Um, and then Wendy was like, "Well, that's what I wanted to talk. That's what I wanted to say too." Because Wendy was going to say something, but she stopped. Anyways, Karen's smoke is for Wendy. She says, "How will Wendy know? She lives in Timbuktu," which they said Wendy do live, girl, far away. Um, I just, I don't know what's going on with her and Wendy. Well, I do know her and Wendy were never friends. I think Wendy tried to hold up her end of the bargain. I have this belief where when Wendy and Karen became friends, it was more so because Karen was on the outs with the group and Wendy was not liked by the fans, even though she's still not liked by the fans. They tolerate Wendy. I go up for Dr. Wendy, but I know that the girls, they tolerate Wendy because anytime they can stick it to Wendy, girl, they go overboard, right? They'll drag Dr. Wendy for the alleged insurance fraud but they want Jen Shaw to come back. Girl, they'll drag Wendy for the alleged insurance fraud. But Karen, who has 4 alcohol-related offenses and was driving through a residential neighborhood, knocking pictures off the wall, girl, running into motherfucking signs, girl, they'll forgive her. So we know it's a difference, and we know the venom that is thrown at Wendy is completely different than the venom that will be thrown at Karen. That's why I say if Wendy is convicted, girl, it's gonna be hard for her to come back to the show because the girls are gonna like drag her. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. They're gonna like drag her. Anyways, she says that, Wendy knows why she didn't give her a shout out at the reunion. Girl. I think Karen gonna come back next year, and when her and Wendy get into it, because her and Wendy will get into it. Um, I think Karen's gonna pull something out of her asshole, and I think the fans are gonna eat it because again, they really don't like Wendy. Even if what Karen's saying doesn't make sense, they're still gonna eat it. She says the only person that didn't call her was Wendy. I wouldn't call your ass either. Call you for what? Girl, tell Candace to call you. Tell Andy to call you. Tell the other ones to call you. Call you for what? Because you already showed me, girl, we're not even cool like that. What do I need to call you for? Girl, that was pretty much it, girl. In conclusion, I think Karen is still full of shit. I think that I'll say this in Karen's defense. I saw a lot of people dragging Karen, saying that she did not take accountability. I think that Karen took accountability. I don't think she said it the way that necessarily you probably wanted her to say it. Did she call herself an alcoholic? I don't remember Karen referring to herself as an alcoholic. Do I remember her saying that it was alcoholism? Yes. But she never once said, I'm an alcoholic. Oh, it was alcoholism. That was more so how she put it. Do I think that Karen will be back to drinking? Yes. Do I think she'll do it in public? No. Will she do it on the show? No. It'll be when filming wraps after 3-4 months. She'll go into her home and she gonna let loose. She'll be more in control, more in control than what she was before. Yeah. I mean, it gave what it gave. I'm not surprised. I mean, to me, has Karen changed? No. I mean, she was gone for 6. We're not gonna sit here and act like she was gone for 6 years. Karen was gone for 6. I mean, 6 months is a long time. For the girls who don't do jail, 6 months is a long ass time. Don't get it twisted. But Karen is still gonna come back next season, and she's gonna give you I'm Karen. I don't care. I it was the interview really could have been 15 minutes. It really could have been thrown into last week's episode. The beef with Wendy is weird to me. Wendy ain't did nothing to that lady, and y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all know Wendy ain't did nothing to that lady. But of course, it is what it is. All right, y'all. I'm done. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a good day. Karen is back. More than likely, she will be back for season 11. Yeah. Oh, do I think that Karen should come back? Yeah, I think Karen should come back. I do. I think Karen should come back. Yeah, I think Karen should come back. And that's it. All right. Bye, y'all.